Flight Boss, bitch. And I want to go ahead and do this because I be feeling like I be jumping the gun. Like, I don't know. I sometimes I go over my old videos, but sometimes I don't, so I'm not sure if I be covering certain shit, because I be freestyling. But it's like, I don't want to jump the gun and start talking about some crazy, off-the-wall shit. I'm not doing that, but it appeared to be like that in niggas' brains, because like, I do shit like start talking about everything the sun could do for you, but I don't even got a video talking about the sun. Like, you get it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I want to go ahead and break it down. So with this first little quick video right here, this gonna be just basically talking about the temperaments of the planets, which is the home and the way and the fall and the rise. I like to do it the other way around, though. I don't like to talk about the acceleration and the debilitation and I don't like to. That's like home and away. I like to talk about it as the rise and the fall first. The rise is the exaltation. That's the most important, because we're gonna get in that. I like to talk about the exaltation and the fall. I talk about that first. Then we talk about the rulership and the debilitation, which is the it doesn't feel so good. So let's distinguish these words first. You come across a lot of astrologers, they're gonna tell you, you're gonna tell them what sign you are, and they're gonna tell you what's the rulership. Sometimes they don't even tell you what's the debilitation, which is the negative aspect of it. But they'll tell you off the back what's the rulership. I'm here to incorporate all of it. So let's get these words together before we get into these videos of actually explaining the planets and what do they do for the human consciousness. Now, like I said, I don't like to start from rulership to away. I like to start from exaltation to fall. So the exaltation is the rise. It's the highest point of the planet. So and the fall is the lowest point of the planet, of the star. Now, the ruler is the actual home of this star or planet, whatever you want to call it, celestial body. You know what I'm saying? And when it's away, it's in its opposite. So away is the debilitation. The mirror aspect of it. The interchangeable qualities. These are why. Now, this is another video, but see, I get into force field sometimes. Let's use this for an example, right? Neptune rules Pisces, right? So that automatically makes it debilitated in Virgo. Now, let's go to some music terms. Now, musically, Pisces appear more dreamy than Virgos. But here's the mirror aspect that happens sometimes when you deal with opposites. When you look at a Virgo's video and look at a Pisces video, the Virgo video might have a lot more creativity to it. And the Pisces may lack creativity, but it holds stability. Like, you can tell that they're stable enough to do what they want to do. So that's called interchangeable opposite qualities. Things that Virgo, you would think a Virgo is superior at, you would see that trait shine on a Pisces. The dreamy quality in a music video you may think a Pisces will have, you would see that in a Virgo. And here's why. Because it's harder for a Virgo to not be detail oriented and be more on the bigger picture and more visual and more dreamy. Since it's naturally harder for them to do that, they tend to grow up in their life thinking that's what they're missing. So they take the time to practice that element. So it's not natural for them, so they express it. Like, things that's not natural for you, you overexpress it. For an example, a girl who may not like her makeup. I mean, who may not like her natural face, right? A female who might not like her natural face, she might keep a hair wrap on, she might stay in the house. Now, to look good and look presentable, she put makeup on her face, right? Now, the makeup isn't that person, but they use the makeup because they been growing up in their life thinking that they look better with the makeup. So this person, this female, may have practiced putting on makeup a lot better than a girl who have natural beauty. So a girl who has natural beauty may try to put on makeup and don't make herself look even uglier because she did it sloppy and she wasn't quite naturally at doing it. So when she show herself without makeup, she's better at showing herself without makeup because she's naturally beauty. Now the girl who need makeup because she doesn't feel like she has natural beauty, when she steps out, she feels more comfortable in makeup because the makeup is like, it's a makeup. So you see the analogy? The girl without the makeup is horrible at putting on makeup but feel more comfortable with stepping outside without makeup. The girl who thinks she's ugly won't come outside without makeup but feel more comfortable coming outside with makeup. That's the interchangeable aspects. So the pretty girl don't need makeup and the ugly girl need makeup. So that's like with the Virgo and Pisces music videos. The Virgo needs to be creative and imaginary because that's what they lacked, so they worked on doing that. Same way as the ugly girl, she lacked beauty, so she worked on perfecting putting on makeup. You know what I'm saying? Then an opposite as the Pisces, they're naturally dreamy, so they have to work on being more detailed oriented. You know what I'm saying? So in their videos, it might not show dream, but it still holds the energy, but this is why you see the interchangeable. The same way as the pretty girl who don't need makeup, and if she practiced putting on makeup, she don't like makeup, so she need to. You get the interchangeable. It's interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? All opposite signs has interchangeable qualities. You know what I'm saying? And this is what makes them opposite, because it's a tug of war between it. So basically, that was a perfect example right there. So it's like, at the same time, this is why the opposites can get along, but this is why they can actually hate each other. And this is why there's no in between. There's no passive or unpassive element between them. There's always just a polar opposite. You're either with them or you're not. You know what I'm saying? So the exaltation is so the ruler is like home, and the opposite side is away. That's the debilitation. So when a planet is at home as the rulership, it's at home. So it's not. I don't want astrologers to get this mixed up, because they'll lead you into believing that the ruler and the debilitation is more important than the exaltation and the fall, the rise and fall. And I'm here to change that around. It should be more common that we talk about what's the rises, the exaltations, and the falls of the planet, and then talk about the rulerships and the debilitations. And here's why. Because I'm finna tie this down to some simple terms for y'all. Here's why. The rulership is home. So when you at home, you feel comfortable when you at home, right? So you can do shit that people like, and you can do shit that people don't like. But when you at home, you at home. So 9 times out of 10, when you have guests in your home, they're more acceptable to your faults, because, okay, you change the TV. You got a guest over who was watching something, right? And you change the TV. They don't like what you watching. They might say something, but they're not gonna argue with you. They're not gonna tell you anything different, because you're at home. This is your home. So they either accept it, get with it, or you don't. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't create disharmony. And if it does create a disharmony, it's at a low scale, because people are more acceptable to what you're gonna do in your home, because that's your home anyway. Now, when you're away in someone else's house and you're the guest, you're not gonna do certain things you would do at home. You're going to be more acceptable to their faults and their things. And, if you want to go use the bathroom, you ask, can I go use the bathroom? If you was at home, you would just go to the bathroom. But if you ask, can I go to the bathroom? And if you're a person who don't ask, you're still going to feel a small scale of something just getting up, going to someone else's bathroom. I don't care if you've been doing that for years or not. It's still someone else's bathroom with someone else's belongings in there. So certain things you may do at home, you won't do in someone else's house, and you will work around it. So that's perfect. That's a perfect analogy of the rulership and the debilitation, because when a planet is in a rulership, it's going to do what it does anyway, and people are going to agree with it, and they're going to agree with it or disagree with it, but not have a conflicting aspiration behind it. And when you're away, these are the common traits that it takes them away. But this is the initial reason why the rulership and the debilitation is not more powerful than the exaltation and the fall. That's the critical reason. The home and away analogy. That's the critical reason. Because here's why. When a planet is in a rise, which is the exaltation, which is the highest point of its reach, it doesn't matter where it's at, it's going to be itself. You know what I'm saying? So when it's at an exaltation, it doesn't matter what aspects it's getting, what opposition aspects it's getting, it doesn't matter. It's going to be its truest self wherever. So when a planet is in exaltation, and say you have, and it's a guest, and you're at a, you have guests or something like that, right? And your planet is at an exaltation, and you have oppositions and harsh aspects like squares and quincunxes and stuff like that. If your planet is in exaltation, none of that shit matters, because it's going to be like, you can square me all you want, you can oppose me all you want, but you can't stop this light, this shine. I'm at the highest feeling that I can have. No one can bring me down. Here's an example. If you have the best feeling in the world, and people coming to you trying to bring you back down to their level, and you just absolutely not letting them, you're at exaltation. Now at home, you could be at a certain level, and a person could come bring you down or bring you back to them levels, and this might actually work. You might end up feeling down. A person might make you feel down, but you're still at home. That's as far as they can get you. But you're still at home. You're still comfortable. You're comfortable when you feel down. And when you're away, you feel uncomfortable when you feel down. If you're happy, you feel comfortable when you're happy at home. When you're away, you feel happy but uncomfortable happy. Like someone had to make you happy. Like if you at somebody else's house and someone mother make you a plate, you happy. But you uncomfortable happy, because you know this is someone else's plate. So you're thoughtful of it. You know what I'm saying? You're thankful. You know what I'm saying? When you're at home, you get something to eat. You're comfortable because you made it or your mother made it. And you know what I'm saying? Now the exaltation, it doesn't even matter. You can go out to eat. You go anywhere. That's what you want to do. Now the fall is when it's beneath the earth. Now the fall is like more like, it's like, it's not a away. It's that it doesn't matter where you at. You're not gonna bring your spirits up. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good and bad and everything. It's things you need to learn when you can't bring your spirits up too. You know what I'm saying? When you can't beat out all. Sometimes you have to beat an all downer, because you may be used as a vessel from another being to bring someone else's down to your level. Like everything is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the exaltation is the best, and the fall is the worst. The home is most comfortable, and the away, like the home is the ruler, and the away, which is the debilitation, is the most uncomfortable. So exaltation is the best ever. The fall is the worst ever in any situation. The home is the best comfortableness of any situation, and the debilitation is the most uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm doing charts and shit like that, here's how you understand them. This is how you understand your placements within your natal chart. Like, say for an example, you have, now let me do a quick rundown. You have your personal planets, your sociable planets, and your generational planets. Go back to that video and I explain them. You know what I'm saying? I can do a quick rundown real quick. Your personal is, or who you are is your sun, moon, and rising. That's who you are, period. Period. Now, how you personally exert who you are is your personal planets. Mercury, Venus, 50%. Split down the middle, half of Mars. Just a half aspect of Mars. 50%. Now, that's how you exert your personal to sociable arenas, which is the sociable part of your life, is the other 50% of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, 50% of Uranus. Remember, each of these personal, sociable, and generational have 2 planets that's completely in it, and a half of 2 planets, which is the first one doesn't. It just had the half of Mars. Now this one had the other half of Mars is in the sociable. Then you have Jupiter, Saturn, which is all in, and then you have 50% Uranus, just half of Uranus in sociable. Generational, you have the other 50% of Uranus, then the all-in planets, Neptune and Pluto. Now, what you would do is look at your exaltations, your falls, your rulerships, and your debilitations, and see where are they in your personal, in your who you are as a person, or your personal, or your generational, or your sociable planets. And then once you see where they at, then you can see what are you, and see aspects and squares pointing to, then you will be able to see what's going on. Like, is you exalted in, you will be able to understand why somebody more popular than you. In their sociable planets, they may have an exaltation, or they may have a rulership, and they may be debilitated in their generation, or they may be debilitated in their or false, or you know what I'm saying, or debilitated in their personal planets. So if a person debilitated, if they got debilitated or fall planets in their personal planets, like, which is Mercury, Venus, 50% Mars, but in a sociable planets, which is the other 50% Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and 50% Uranus. See, but in a sociable planets, they may have exaltations and rulerships. So this kind of person is a person who's not personal. They don't take things personal. And then they very popular. The most popular people are people who don't take a lot of things personal. People who take a lot of things personal, a lot of people don't like to be around them kind of people. But people who take things personal can exert their energies in a lot of areas that's helpful, and obtaining things and not needing other people to obtain these things. These are self-driven people. But see, and vice versa, if they have a lot of exaltations and rulerships in their sociable planets, but in their personal planets they have a debilitation and a fall, these are people who don't take things personal, but they're very popular socially. Now switch these around. If you have people who have an exaltation or a fall in their personal, but they have exaltations and rulerships in their They have exaltations or rulerships in their personal, but they have falls and debilitations in their sociable. Then these are people who are not personal, but these are people who are not popular, but they take everything personal. You see? Now, regardless, you're going to have a debilitation, exaltation, a rise, or a fall in your personal, social. Everybody has them in their personal, social, or their generational. So this comes to the point where you have to understand aspects and angles. Now, assets and angels, basically. So once you see your aspects and angles and work out all your squares and shit like that, then you would know what more your benefit of. Like naturally, if you're a naturally popular person, then you automatically know what to look for when you're getting this information in your chart. You know to probably see what aspects and angles, and you probably have that's helping, because you can have an exaltation in in one of your sociable planets, but if it's making a harsh aspect to a personal planet, you may take popularity personal. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to know aspects and angles and shit, just that and third. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end this video right now and get into the planets and let you know all the planets and the exaltations and the debilitations and the falls and the rises of these planets. Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. Bitch.